Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group Sobiwa Zaman want to present about the factors influencing consumers' preference on Islamic banking debt products. And this is our group members. Islamic banking has begun to gain traction in worldwide finance with some concentration in a few nations. In theory, Islamic banking is a banking system that adheres to Islamic law, often known as Sharia law. This paper is an examination of the different factors affecting consumers' preference to Islamic banking products. This study uses secondary data which is from 15 collected articles that we found in websites and research papers. Consumer perceived benefits, perceived behavior control, economic value and religious value were examined towards the interest to use Islamic financing. The findings of the study indicated that economic and religious values appears to be the most important factors.
Debt, according to Imam Shafi'i, is the transfer of the owner use of a property to another person. The borrower must either return the property in the same condition as when it was borrowed or replace it with goods of similar worth. The purpose of this literature review is to study the factors that influence consumer preferences of Islamic banking debt products. This paper also is competent to identify the real factor that influence consumer to adopt Islamic banking debt services by analysing from some article that discuss this matter truly.
Few factors had been highlighted on the preferences on Islamic banking debt products. One of the factors is religiosity. Religiosity is an internal religious orientation in which religion provides the individual with a framework for understanding life that provides significance. Religiosity also works as a consumer's ethical convictions, which are manifested in their everyday behavior and commitment. Religiosity is considered a factor and has a favorable influence on purposeful conduct due to its excludable from illegal transactions, which have no interest and do not involve in gambling, and increases the amount of intention to engage in Islamic banking facilities, particularly Islamic personal financing. Overall, people who held certain values of religion were able to influence their actions and decisions. Moving to the next factor, the significance of religion influencing one's choices or activities is defined as religious obligation. It also refers to the role of religion in affecting one's choice or activities. There is a positive relationship between the religious obligation that influences customers to choose Sharia-compliant products like ITAP and Sharia-compliant mortgages. The Sharia-compliant mortgages function as no-interest home purchase plans. The Sharia-compliant products do have a direct positive effect and influence the consumer's acceptance of Islamic home financing. It shows that the more people exposed to the teaching of Sharia-compliant products, the higher the percentage of people seeking Islamic banking products. Thus, religious obligation did influence the people in choosing loan products of banks.
Besides, Azhar and his other members mentioned that people prefer Islamic finance if they have better knowledge of Islamic ideology. Their research also found that the odd ratio of the consumer's knowledge about interest in Islam is 1.8265, which indicates that if consumers' knowledge about Islam increases by 1 unit, the number of selecting Islamic banking increases by 82%. Next, a study carried out by Sugana and Sheila found that interest rate is the main factor for consumers in choosing a bank or housing finance corporation. Since interest rate increases the cost of loan repayment, hence, if there is a low in interest rate, cost of loan will be reduced and demand for bank loan will increase, as reported by Christos and his fellow members. However, as a Muslim, we should avoid any transactions or debt products that include interest rate as it is prohibited in Islam, which clearly mentioned in the Quran.
Consumers prefer Islamic banking for a variety of reasons, including relative profit and the extent to which Islamic banking comprises universal components in terms of economic and behavioral characteristics. Another review found that customers from Islamic banks also emphasize on perceived benefits such as ATM service and financial security. According to Idris et al. 2011, Islamic banks benefit customers by giving easy access to ATMs in many locations at any time anywhere they are needed. The operation of an ATM is very basic and straightforward instructions that anyone, regardless of age, may follow. This shows that while choosing a loan product, a consumer wants a good service quality. This involves customer service offered by bank employees in terms of assisting the elderly and youngsters, and also the language
language and activities. The more cautious the employee, the more likely the customer or consumer will choose one of the bank's loan products. So these are the factors influencing customers' preference on Islamic banking debt products.
Islamic debt are always the best approach for the consumer to adapt to the debt system in their life. This literature review has contributed to the past studies from several aspects. Initially, consumers that adopt this Islamic banking debt product are those who understand and have idea about how the system works. That is why they are able to compare between commercial and Islamic banking debt product and which one will bring them more benefit. After all, debt is permitted in Islam since it benefits individuals and allows the fulfillment of their needs.